Allow me to very briefly introduce MIRA, the Massachusetts Immigrant and Refugee Advocacy Coalition. It's the largest immigrant advocacy institution in New England that represents the foreign-born. Our mission is to promote and enhance the immigrant and refugee rights, promote citizenship, civic engagement, and build power among immigrant communities. So in just a quick overview on the setting, in Massachusetts, the immigrant population makes up 14%, which makes our state the 7th largest immigrant population in the nation. And the population is economically and ethnically very diverse. Only in the city of Boston, there are over 140 languages spoken. The foreign-born population in the city of Boston makes up 28%, and 17% of the workforce statewide. Over half of the Massachusetts PhDs are foreign-born. Half of that population is in management, and about 13% of registered voters are new American voters, naturalized citizens, and also U.S.-born children of recent immigrants. Tim, would you like to address the poll, or you want to?
We've got a very quick poll, which we invite our audience to participate in. Does your organization have solid ethnic media relations, is the poll. Please indicate yes or no, and we will present the results momentarily. I'll give you another 15 seconds. Bit of a race here. About 21 people have polled so far. Let's get a few more into the mix. That's great. Got about 26 now. And we will give you a few more minutes, and then we will publish that poll. Eva, while we're publishing the poll, we'll
This is great. I'm just looking at some of the results and, the connection. But one of our great successes, and one, thing that needs to be replicated and looked at, is building relationship with the ethnic media. Having solid relationship with the ethnic media really helps a lot, keeping your profile and making sure that your mission and your power is understood. Here in our area, we have about 120 ethnic media outlets, and it's extremely important that those connections with the ethnic media, building a strong database, help strengthening your work. So the goal is, the goal for us was to register new Americans and really make a difference and show the world that the foreign-born can really make a difference. We built relationships with the federal government, who is in charge of the citizenship ceremonies. And we got ahead of time a list of the big swearing-in ceremonies across the state of Massachusetts, thousands of people being naturalized at one ceremony. So that gave us the opportunity to plan ahead, to plan volunteers, to get targets in specific areas, and engaged more than 75 volunteers. We followed up with phone calls and postcards to get out the vote, and contacted voters that we had saved from a 2009 drive. And in total, with direct mail, we contacted 8,000 new Americans. And it was extremely important to, make this known to the media. We bought a database of 100,000 voters in the Metro West, which is an area here in Massachusetts, a zone that is really known for anti-immigrant sentiment. And it was extremely strategic of us to, invest and look in that particular area. We used the voter activation network that we bought the database, and we used the database to place over 5,000 calls to identify who the immigrant voters or who the pro-immigrant voters are in that area. We did follow up with postcards before the election, and then we knocked on almost 700 doors. Another strategy that we used to build political power and build power among the immigrant community is we registered another entity, Another institution as a sister to MIRA, as the political arm to MIRA, called the Coalition for New Americans. And I know European laws are different, but here we are allowed to, through a 501c3 work, which is MIRA, and that allows us to do limited advocacy work, but it's nonpartisan work. And the 501c4 is an entity that allows us to do more advocacy, political work, endorse political candidates, and engage the community, engage specific areas and specific voters by educating them and endorsing candidates and having them vote for that candidate. So everything that we couldn't do as MIRA because of the nonpartisan status, we used the 501c4, the other entity, to reach out and get more voters to vote for, more progressive and those who really would represent their best interests. Another strategy that really worked, as I mentioned, was, the media strategy, and specifically the ethnic media. We have about 120 outlets. We developed relationship over the years with ethnic media and really kept them very connected, providing stories. You're more likely to go to a party with a buzz. So, the ethnic media is more likely to publish a story when you have a specific area with voters, and specifically new Americans and foreign-born who can really make a difference. We prepared press releases in English, but the best thing was that the interviews, we had identified spokespeople who gave the interviews in their own language, and that was something that the ethnic media really liked and promoted. The second, we sent releases to all the media, the mainstream media, but the goal was to really provide the ethnic media. And our governor, who was a candidate for governor for re-election at the time that we were very involved in the civic engagement work, he understood that role, and he also did a lot of briefing with the ethnic media. So he recognized the power of the immigrant vote in the Commonwealth. So in terms of the media strategy, in addition to, furnishing them with stories, finding the people to speak in their own language, we also identified the issues and educated voters and prepared a voter guide so people can understand that really they need to participate in the process because these are issues that really affecting them, starting from healthcare crisis to education to domestic violence issues and more. And, we designed a campaign from September to October, where before the elections, we send regular press releases detailing voter registration drive. MIRA staff and members conducted radio interviews. We were constantly in the Spanish and Portuguese and Haitian Creole media, and those are the largest immigrant population and voters in Massachusetts. We also send ethnic media a number of PSAs, both pre-recorded and, public announcement, public service announcement, and the day of the elections also we mobilized the whole membership to get people to the polls. So not only, registering them, but making sure that there was transportation and there were in translation services. So we really taking people to the polls and making sure that they will vote the day of the election. And the outcome and the impact of our work is the Governor Patrick, who is the pro-immigrant governor, got elected, and in 10 cities with the largest immigrant population, and he came to a MIRA event right after the elections when he thanked the immigrant community, and he was very well recognized that the immigrant vote really made a big difference in immigrant cities. Another success, another impact is that all the progressive Massachusetts delegation returned to Washington, D.C. to represent the state. In the only seat that, it was a very close race, and there was an individual who was very anti-immigrant and with a very strong anti-immigrant and harsh agenda. He lost with with significant losses in those districts who were very heavy populated by immigrants. And it was interesting because a year ago, another anti-immigrant individual won in that particular area. and then, a year after, an anti-immigrant lost. So that really showed the strength and of the immigrant vote and the new Americans who went out to vote. And also, the legislature is very progressive in Massachusetts, and it's controlled by Democrats, both chambers. Just to wrap up, a few key things to remember for success that people can think about or replicate or adopt in their programs is A, build a strong ethnic media contact over time, a very strong database, utilizing your members, utilizing your friends, utilizing your networks for connections, for compelling stories, for celebrities or other successful stories. Second, found members and allies to reach out in different languages, and specifically in those languages and areas that there is a large immigrant population, and specifically new Americans. It was very important to make use of the naturalization ceremonies, have the map of the ceremonies ahead of time, the regions that the ceremonies were taking place, get photo ops, get stories, excite the media for the large numbers of people, and compelling stories of those who were in the armed forces, those successful academics, or those who had made a difference in different areas. And the last one I will mention is work ahead of time and think about long-term, all the bases, all the numbers and the networks that you have, all the systems, utilize those and build a very strong database of voters. I think there is really key. In every conversation that we have with members of legislatures or policymakers, the one thing that they ask about is, how many voters are in my district and what is their voice. And I would like to thank you for your attention and thank you for the opportunity to share some of our experience.